Hello and welcome to a new video. I'm Fuchstanz and I'm glad you're here. Hello and welcome. I hope you're having an okay day. I hope you're feeling well and that you're not too stressed about what's going on in the world right now. It's been a rough couple of days and seemingly there's no end to it, so I'm hoping you're all going to stay strong and together. I think if we just support each other and take care of each other, this whole situation that's going on won't be better essentially, but it will feel better if you show compassion towards your other humans. So yeah, aside from that, today's illustration is a watercolor ink one. As you can see at the start, I showed you which colors I picked. They were all by Ecoline except the blue one, because I couldn't open the Ecoline one. Sometimes ink wells get really stuck and you can't really open them unless you really try, and I just I didn't want to try, so I used the Dr. P.H. Martin's one for that. The concept for this I had drawn a few months ago, and this illustration basically sat in my not drawer but in my paper storage, essentially waiting to be finished, and I decided that today's the day that I will finish it. The idea behind this was just basically that I wanted to draw some hyakkei, especially a ONI, a blue demon. I hope that's the right translation. I only know the Japanese version, so I'm sorry. But yeah, the main idea behind this was that I don't know how to say this, but I really love drawing mythological creatures, especially Japanese ones, so this was a quick and easy one again. I think though with the color palette I chose, this illustration really became something special. I love using color contrasts in my artwork. Let it be the complementary contrast, or in this case a warm to cold one. I don't know, it just makes these colors pop, and it's a dream to work with contrasting colors in my opinion, because the colors just look very bright and just are a standout, and I love that about my art. I love using color, and if the color is even more in the foreground, if I can use certain colors, that's just perfect to me. As I said, I used the Ecoline watercolorings this time. I recently got a few more of them, just because I think comparing them to the Dr. P.H. Martin ones, the Ecoline are so much easier to work with. They might not be as pigmented and not as bright sometimes, but when it comes to just working with them, I feel like they blend so much easier and you don't have to shake them up, and yeah, I really like using them. They are very special. And they are not too expensive, like in comparison to the Dr. P.H. Martin's ones, which can go up to, I don't know, €9 for a bottle. the Ecoline are wallet friendly, I would say. One thing I would say though, working with watercolor inks requires you to use some sort of UV protection if you want to display them, because their colors are not light fast. So if you would let this illustration out in the sun, like even for 2 weeks, I'm sure it would just fade. So in order to prevent that, using a UV varnish is recommended. Otherwise it's just a fleeting illustration and you'll be left with barely any color after some time. So keep that in mind when you're working with them. But they're so much fun to work with and so vibrant in comparison to, I don't know, pan watercolors, who are usually light fast and highly pigmented if you get the right brand. Yeah, they're just fun to work with. And I think in this time we all could use some easy tools to work with. I had finished the main part of the ONI, I decided to go into the background, and I was inspired by Ukiyo E prints. They are stunning pieces of art history, and I always like looking at them and getting inspired by them, especially for background and stuff, because the way they are using form and shapes is just phenomenal to me. So the background was kind of inspired by that, although it was just a very, very simplified version of that. Like, it's just some trees and branches and a moon. Doesn't even go close to the masterpieces of Ukiyo E, but hey, you all gotta get inspired somewhere, and this was a good start for me. A thing I would like to add is that I should have started with the yellow, because sometimes you couldn't get too close to the blue in case it would just bleed out and make a green color, which was very unfortunate, but I think I managed to do it well regardless. So yeah, just keep it in mind if you do it yourself. And for the moon, I decided to get out my fine tech pearl colors. The blue I'm using, yeah, I always add a dot of water, then let it sit for a minute or so, swirl it again, and then I can use it. Unfortunately, in this video you can't really see the blue tint of this pigment. I think later in the finished shots you can tell it a little bit, but this color is so exceptional and it just shines blue in the right light. But when you look straight on, it's just white, so I really like using that color. I should use them more often, but oftentimes I'm too lazy to use them. the outlines of this illustration, I decided to use my colored pencils again. There's just something nice about working with colored pencils on top of watercolor, and I really like doing it, so any chance I get to do that is just very special and it's really fun. I've used some Polychromos and some super Furby ones, and also I think one Staedtler, so yeah. It was really fun to just give this piece a little bit more detail with the colored pencils and make it look more finished and detailed. The only really outline pen I used was a Muji Gel Pen, and that's about it for outlining this piece. Well, I hope you enjoyed this illustration and the process of it. If you want, you can leave a like and a comment. I would really appreciate it. Subscribe, it would make my day. And if you want, you could also leave some suggestions of what you want to see me film. But until then, bye bye!